Alright. Layer, new solid, and we will actually, let's cancel that, and layer new solid again. Grab this color. Hit OK. And we will bring down the opacity. And one more time, take a look at this. This comes down right about at health. And then this one comes down at the end. So let's turn this on. And then in this case it's locale. So we'll go there. And then we will go there. Turn the opacity back up. And we'll make another one. Okay. We'll duplicate both of these. Paste them, and then lock the first two. Move this to about, no, we'll move this down to the edge. Then select these 2 points and move them down to about there. And let's feather this out. You can unlock those. Make a mask here. Let's actually bring it up just a little. And we'll set it to subtract. Hit F. Turn this off. And let's feather that. Okay. Now let's take a look at the reference again. We have these 2 triangle pieces, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 evenly spaced big notches, and then we have two smaller notches in between those. So let's make little triangle pieces. One about here. And then one down here. Yeah, right here. Straighten this out. Okay. Now this actually took some time to do. Let's save our work first. And let's duplicate this. And we'll delete the masks. And we'll start off with a bigger version of the notch here. This will be the big one that will be spread out 4 times. If I can select it and move it, that would be fantastic. Okay, alright, so this is where we have to use some math, and it gets a little tricky. Well, kind of, not really, but we need to place these notches here in 4 different spaces, equally spaced, or 5 open spaces total. So what we need to do is figure out how many pixels long this open space is. If we put, actually if we move around here, in the upper right you can see we have this X and Y coordinates. If you move it around, you can put your mouse here, and you see that our X coordinate is 368. We don't care about the Y coordinate. And if we move it over here, our X coordinate is 610. So if we take 610 minus 368, we get 242. And that means there's 242 pixels within this spot. Now, if you take 242 and divide it by 5, because we need 5 open spaces, it is 48.5. We'll just say 48. So if you go here at 368 and you add 48 pixels, you would get 416. So that tells you where to put this first piece. So let's move it to 416. Let's duplicate it. Add another 48, which is 464. Back here a little bit. Just a little more. There you go. One more time. We're at 512 now. Alright, one more time. And we will finish up at 560, or just right in the middle here. We'll end at 62 because we had the 0.5 that we took off. Okay, so now let's make these notches a little bit smaller. If we select them all, we could actually, yeah, let's just scale them down. Hit S, bring them down to like 80. I forgot it's not working. 80, and actually that just ruined everything. Take the scale and uncheck this here. Or we don't even need that actually, just do this. And then hold shift and bring them down. Alright, and that's about right. Now let's take these, and I think from here on we can just eyeball it. Let's duplicate it and scale it down to 50%, and that's not working, I keep forgetting. 50%, and we'll take our mask and bring it in. And we just need to move this so that there's a 2 in between each one now. So take those and just eyeball it. And we could take those and duplicate them. Bring them over here. Do it again. Over here. Again. Over here. And we'll do it one more time. And right here. I know this is tedious work, but I'll tell you guys, it's the detail that counts. Because without detail, it's not too good. And when you add detail, people can definitely tell. We'll put this back to full. And let's save our work because that was pretty rough. Okay, now it's time to add all the text and stuff. So if we go back to our reference, we have rad resist 26%, rads 500, 1000, and some random number of where your radiation's at. So let's start with rad resist and rads here. Rad resist is all caps. We'll scale it down to 75. Uh, 68 we'll try, because we need to save room for the percentage over here. And we'll line this up right there. And then we will do, I think it was rads, yes. We will control D that, duplicate it, and type rads. Bring that up some. Make sure it's lined up, yep. And then duplicate that, set it to 500, and I think, is that 50? No, 500, okay. Duplicate, and set it to 1000. And the 1000 will go at the end, of course, right over top that triangle, and the 500 will go right in the middle. And we can bring that over and bring it down. Then we will do the arrow. So we'll go layer, new, solid, hit alright. And we'll just make a box. Make a little arrow here. And we'll do some, I guess, random number, something like, We can duplicate the 500, and I guess I'll just do like 234. Put that right there. Make sure it's matched up. And let's duplicate that one more time, and we'll do 26%. Just adding random detail, also keeping in mind the actual Pipboy from the game. We're referencing that. But let's take this percentage, and we're going to scale this down to about 33%. And if we take, if we just select the space here between the 6 and the percent, we can take metrics and just kind of scoot it over. So there's a little bit of room between the 6 and the percent. And that's good, actually. Let's actually take our mask. If I can find it, there's a ton. And select these points. Whoa. Sorry, guys. We can select these points. Just kind of move it over, and that way we can move the 26 over to have a little more room to distinguish between these two, the 26 and the rad resist. And we'll take our 234 and our arrow, and we'll line those up. 234 would be somewhere around here, I guess. Alright, and that's the detail for the radiation stuff. I know it was kind of annoying and long, but hey, you gotta do it. Gotta do the detail. Now let's pre-compose all of these elements. I think it goes down to, yeah, down to there. Control Shift C, rad chart. Put a glow on it. Set it to overlay, or not overlay, but add. Take that off. Take that off. Look at what we got so far. Looks pretty sweet. Looks pretty Fallout. Let's line these up. These aren't lined up here. We'll go all the way down to, I think it's the, yeah, here we go. Okay. Alright. Looks nice and good, nice and glowy looking. Alright, so now let's talk about the little vault boy that's going to be right here. If you take a look at this picture, what I did was I brought this into Photoshop and I boosted up the contrast so that this was perfectly white and this was perfectly black. And what I did was I got the magic wand tool, and I selected all of this white space in here. I selected this area, all in here. This, this, in here in the face, the teeth, and the hair, even in the eyes. So pretty much I could just fill all that with that green color that we've been using this whole time. So that the black, the actual like marker, is negative space. There won't be anything there. So if you take a look at the file here, and I solo it, this is actually, it's just green that you see here, and this, there's nothing here. If I do that, you can kind of see a little bit better. And then you just save it from Photoshop as a PSD, and you can bring it into After Effects, and then bring it right in here. I'm probably just gonna steal this from this comp. Take that off. And it's got a position keyframe, so we can actually get rid of that. We can scale it down, but yeah, as you guys know, same color, as this, and it's got a glow on it, and it's set to add. And he's just trying to tell you that it's alright, you're radiated, but, who cares? It'll be alright in the end, no matter how it turns out. So we got our glow, and we got it's set to add, and actually, I think, no, never mind. Yeah, alright, so we put it on glow. Let's actually take this radiation sign here and move it over to the left. And then for the position keyframe, we'll get rid of it. And then just reset it because we need to scoot everything over. Sorry. Okay, so right here. Move it up 5. And then take the rad warning and move it over a little bit more. Take this, I'll move it up a bit more. Take this little character, your Vault Boy. Maybe have someone do a drawing of you, and we'll move it over to about there. Looks good. And I'm gonna actually get rid of all the keyframes here. I think I have some rotation, yeah. And actually, I think that's it for the second screen. Yeah, that's it for the second screen. So let's start animating this stuff now. Alright, so let's hide the stuff from the second screen, and we'll start with the first screen. Let's see. These, this was from the first screen, and no, not that. Here we go. Okay. So, we need a transition between here to the second screen, and if we go to our footage, the actor presses the button right here. I have it set already. So he presses the button with his thumb to go to the next page. So if you hit Shift 1, you can even do Shift 2, Shift 3, and you make different points as reference. So Shift 1, that's where he hits it. So if we go here, Shift 1, that's where he hits it. So let's transition in. Let's try a transition in 5 frames. But before we do that, let's get these things flashing. So we'll go to the rad warning. We'll hit T, and we'll keyframe the opacity and go forward 10 frames. Set it to 25% because we don't want it to turn off completely. And hit Control C. And if we zoom in, we can start pasting these keyframes. Zoom out a little bit more. Start pasting them. Oop. And then we're going to do the same thing for the radiation sign. So hit T, paste the keyframes. So they're both flashing together, as you see there. What else are we going to do? We need to do this down here. So if you hit T, paste that. I'm actually going to do the same to the rad's text. So if you hit T there, go to the front, because it's saying click me, click this button here. The more detailed you make it, the better it looks. Just keep that in mind, guys. So that's flashing. Let's have the battery life flashing. So let's go to, where's the battery? Here it is. battery bars, this bar right here. Hit T, and let's paste these keyframes. Alright, and if we set this to half, take a look at this. We have this flashing, we have this flashing, rad's flashing, and the battery life is flashing because we're about to run out of batteries. So there you go. Now let's transition here. And we'll transition in 5 frames. So let's actually grab the position keyframes we have for the radiation and the rad's warning. And we'll bring them, we will bring them up here. And we'll hit F9 to make them easy ease keyframes. And of course that didn't work, so let's right click it, go to keyframe assistant, and easy ease. There you go. That'll just make it